Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Swas. So I have no Toast tonight. Toast is with his wife seeing Tom Segura. So we're not going to go through any baseball. So rather than me do a 10-minute live stream by myself, I figured I'd just record it and upload it. It seemed easier. As far as Thursday night, there's still action going on when I'm recording this. I'm 2-0 right now. I won the Knicks and I won... What's my other win? Oh, Orioles. I won the Knicks and I won the Orioles. I need the Angels is the one I need. Also, I need another run in Rays Diamondback. Oh, actually, no. We don't know about Memphis. I tailed Ream on Memphis. We'll see. Wasn't my pick. I tailed Ream, just like I tailed him on Orlando. So, yeah, we'll see how the night plays out. But, yeah, I'm just going to go through these three NBA games real quick. First up, we got Boston on the road in Orlando for Game 3. Orlando did cover that plus 10.5 in game 2 by a thread. The end of that game was kind of crazy. We were all sweating Orlando plus 10.5, and they probably could have called a foul on that last play, and Boston would have shot 2 free throws, and it probably wouldn't have covered, but they just didn't call it. So Orlando gets the cover. They definitely played the Celtics tougher in game 2 without Jason Tatum. Surprisingly, they actually shot the ball significantly worse, but the offense was better in terms of efficiency, and that's probably because of right here. Half the turnovers, less than half actually. In game 1, they turned the ball over 15 times compared to 7 in game 2. Also, points in the paint go from 28 to 46. Can we count on that happening again? Can we count on the Magic playing a decent offensive game? I mean, obviously, you never really can count on Orlando offensively. I will say, looks like Tatum's going to miss another game. We all know Tatum is a lethal shooter, an elite offensive player. He's actually a very good defensive player as well. So if Tatum's out and Drew Holiday's also on the injury report listed as questionable, if neither of these two guys play, Boston is going to be hindered defensively here. Again, I don't know if I trust Orlando's Orlando's offense in any capacity, but against a hobbled Celtics defense, maybe Orlando can play a decent offensive game at home. Now, on the other side of the floor, it really comes down to what the officials are going to let Orlando do defensively. The Magic are a defense that rely on physicality. They were not letting them play with any sort of physicality in game 2. Boston went to the free throw line 33 times. And I talked about this, what happens in these NBA playoff series when a team goes to the line a lot. The coach speaks up. And Jamal Mosley did right here, made a comment about the officials. It wasn't anything, I mean, it was just whatever, but the coach makes a comment about the officiating, and the whistle tends to flip the other way for game 3. So I expect the officiating to swing towards Orlando. I think they're going to let him get away with some of the physicality in game 3, which is good for Orlando because, like I said, this is a physical defense. That's how they like to play. And on top of that, this game's in Orlando. And the Magic defense at home this season, they have a defensive efficiency of 107.6. That's third in the NBA behind Oklahoma City and the Clippers. So we talked about how elite Oklahoma City is at home, how elite the Clippers are at home. When we're talking about defense, Orlando's third behind those two teams. So Orlando's defense at home is something serious. Combine that with the refs letting them play a little bit, I think Orlando's going to play a good defensive game here. So where does that leave us in terms of placing a bet? Well, I have this one at 3.5, 4. So, I mean, I guess a slight lean on Orlando. I don't know. I haven't bet this one. I bet the other two. I have not bet this one yet. If Drew Holiday doesn't play, I'd probably be down to play on the Magic. But as of right now, it's Orlando or pass. Not very interested in this one. Move on to the next game. Whoa, sorry about that. Next game is Indiana on the road in Milwaukee. The story of this series has been pretty simple. I mean, Indiana cannot miss. They're averaging 120 points per game in the first 2 games of this series. 3.63 assist to turnover ratio. That leads the entire NBA playoffs. So very crisp offense from Indiana. Look at all the shooting numbers on the right side. I mean, like I said, they just can't miss right now. They go from 0-4 against the spread against this Milwaukee team in the regular season to back-to-back wins and back-to-back covers. So is there an end in sight here for Milwaukee's defense? Because they've just gotten cooked so far in this series. I do have some good news for the Bucks. They have played considerably better defense at home this year. Now we're back in Milwaukee for game 3. On the road, they had a defensive efficiency above 116 this year, which is not good. At home, 113.5. That's pretty considerable. To put it into perspective, a 116.1 would be like 19th in the NBA. A 113.5 would be 10th or 11th. So the Bucks do play considerably better defense at home, and the Pacers' offense is not the same on the road. A 118 offensive efficiency at home. Now they're going on the road to Milwaukee, where on the road this year, their offensive efficiency is a 115, which isn't bad, but not nearly as elite as they are at home. So, yeah, I do think we see the Bucks take a step forward defensively. I know based on what we've seen this series, doesn't seem like this Pacers offense can be stopped, but I like the Bucks to play a good defensive game here. I also expect the Bucks to continue to win the rebounding battle. It hasn't been dramatic, but they did win the rebounding battle in both games. I know it sounds crazy because the Pacers pretty much were in control of both of them, but the Bucks won the battle on the boards in both games. The Pacers are such a bad rebounding team. The Bucks are not a good rebounding team either. You got to keep in mind when you're looking at the numbers from the Bucks this year, they played a large chunk of the season without Bobby Portis. So now Bobby Portis is in there. Again, I wouldn't call the Bucks a great rebounding team, but they're still much better than the Pacers. So they won the rebounding battle in both games 1 and games 1 and 2. Now back at home, I think they're going to continue to win the rebounding battle in this one. When it comes to betting it, I like the Bucks. I think the Bucks win this game, but 5.5 is crazy. I had this one at 4. So, I mean, I can't bet the Bucks, even though I want to. I do think they win. I did bet the under in this game. I really don't know why it's so high. I shouldn't say I don't know why it's so high. I know why it's so high. It's because these two teams have played some high-scoring games this year. But like I said, I expect the Bucks to take a pretty significant step forward defensively in this one. I think we're going to see a good defensive game from the Bucks. 230.5 is a big number for a playoff game. Like if you look at the screen here, I have this one at 225. So I did bet this. Not a huge bet, but I'm on the under 230.5. Next game. Last game on the board is Lakers, Minnesota, game 3. We're out in Minnesota now, so no more games in LA. We've seen some swings in this series. In the last one, I had the Lakers first quarter and first half. That was pretty cool. Lakers obviously played considerably better in game 2, but not offensively, which is a little weird. Actually, both games have been pretty poor offensively from the Lakers. They have an offensive rating of 107.4 in this series, which is not good at all. So the Lakers offense has not looked good in either games, the win or the loss. The big difference for the Lakers came right here. Look at the defensive numbers. Game 2, 96.6 compared to a 133 in game 1. So the Lakers went from playing an absolutely record-breakingly bad defensive game in game 1 to actually an elite defensive game in game 2. And this Lakers defense was pretty solid down the stretch after they made the trade. So I expect the Lakers to keep playing well on the defensive side of the ball, which probably explains the total. We'll move on to that. Minnesota was held to just 85 points in the game, which is the lowest of any Timberwolves game this entire season. So yeah, Lakers were playing some defense. This is kind of a tough series to make a prediction, or a tough game, I should say, to make a prediction on, just because of the huge swings we've seen. Look at the three-point shooting. I mean, game 1, Lakers shot 36.6%, then 20.7% in game 2. Minnesota went from 50% to 20%. So it's such a wide range. It's kind of tough to put your finger on where this one's going to land. Personally, I know the idea of betting an over in this series sounds crazy. I'm going to put it up. I know the idea of betting an over in this series sounds crazy. I'm putting it up. I bet the over. Why does that sound crazy? Because these two teams have met 6 times this year, and it stayed under the total all 6. It's 6-0 to the under this season. So why am I considering betting? Well, not considering. I did bet an over. I bet this over 205.5. So why did I bet an over if this matchup, Lakers and Timberwolves, has gone under 6 straight times? Well, number one, like I said, the Lakers have not played a good offensive game in this series. They played poor on the offensive side of the court in both games 1 and 2. I think we're going to see the Lakers finally put it together offensively and have a good offensive game. I also think Minnesota bounces back from the 20% three-point shooting in game 2. Remember, they were a great three-point shooting team all year. So I think the Lakers play a good offensive game. I think Minnesota hits their outside shots at a decent rate. But also the reason I'm betting the over in this one is the number. It's down to 205.5. I mentioned how this series has gone under 6 straight times, all 6 times they've met this year. The number was never even close to 205.5. Well, let me show you something. So the totals in Lakers Timberwolves games this year: 224, 219.5, 213.5, 228.5, 215.5, 211.5. This is the lowest the total has gone in a Lakers Timberwolves game by far. And if you knock it down to 205.5, it has gone over this number a couple times. It actually went over this number in game 1. Went over this number in February, went over this number in October. So if you knock the total down to 205.5, this matchup has gone over that. So you combine the fact that the market has bought this number too low, in my opinion, with the fact that the Lakers are overdue for a good offensive game, and Minnesota's coming off a game where they shot 20% from 3. I think we get up and over the total. It's not a huge bet, but I think if you put a gun to my head and said, what's your favorite NBA bet? I think this would probably be it. I bet the over at 205.5. We'll talk about it again on the live show, 4 p.m. Eastern time. I got Chris and Ski coming on. Also, Toast will be on. We'll talk some MLB. If you're able to make it, we'd love to see you in the comments. Hit me up in the Discord if you need me. See you all 4 p.m. Eastern. Later.